Hello and welcome to Croft for the Lotus on Track Elise Trophy. We're here in North Yorkshire with glorious sunshine, full grids and a lot of action all coming up. For their green flag lap. Chris Randall takes pole. Alongside him in the 2:11 is Paul O'Neill. Here's Simon Hill with the full grid.
Yeah, great to see Paul O'Neill joining the championship. Last minute replacement for Martin Donnelly, winner last time out. Randall, Walsh and Porter, regulars at the front of the grid. Gavin Kirby hopefully going to make up for the disappointment of Cadwell Park recently. Martin Johnson in his 2:11 and the rest of the grid go down all the way through to Rush Treasure there in the number 11 in the A class. So we have various categories, the basic cars and the more advanced cars. Vital Chuan joining us, as is Keith Herford, Chris Pearson and Gary Broad. Chris Pearson a bit further down than we may sometimes have seen him. Now Croft, great start from Paul O'Neill. Well, he may be a virgin to this championship, but he's certainly got that car moving brilliantly. But it is, in fact, looking like, I think it's Walsh who's just managed to get ahead. He has, and Randall already is trying to go around the outside of Paul O'Neill. He didn't see that one coming, Rob Bath, did he?
He didn't. Awesome start, though, from Paul O'Neill off the line, but Walsh and Randall already making their break as Tom Chataway here comes through turn 2 round, coming up to the chicane now, but look at that. Walsh leading by a couple of car lengths already as they come into Tower at the end of the back straight.
You can see just how much the power of that car worked for him on the straight parts, to see how much he can break away before they get down to the wonderful Jim Clark S's. Here they come sweeping through this wonderful left-right section, then into the very, very tricky Barcroft before they break into, got to be one of the most challenging corners in British motorsport, the sunny section here, isn't it, Rob? Down the inside, though, Chris Randall, race winner early this year, and it's looking like Walsh has come back at him.
Oh, Randall's on the outside there at Sunny Out. As you say, one of the most challenging corners anywhere in the UK. A really tricky double right-hander there, and Randall risked a lot considering it's only lap 1 side.
They've broken away a little bit from Paul O'Neill, but he's sitting there watching this scrap unfold. I'm sure he's thinking about where he can maybe take a little bit of time back out of them coming into the final section of the lap. Those last 3 corners, Rob, each corner is subsequently a little bit slower than the previous one, so very difficult rhythm, isn't it?
Very difficult section to get right, and Paul O'Neill seemed to capitalise, perhaps on the slightly more nimble nature of his 211, but he's got Gavin Kirby there sniffing close to him.
And the action continues at the front. Walsh and Randall, I think this scrap's going to run and run. Both of these guys, real masters of their class at the very front of this mixed pack of different categories of cars. Of course, they run in the C category, which is the most modified. In fact, Paul O'Neill's 211 run by Full Speed Racing, by another racer, Mark Speller. Look at that down the inside again, looking at Randall trying to find a little gap as they go into Tower. Difficult corner to pass at, because the road drops away a little bit, Rob.
It does drop away, and as we look at the cars now as they make their way through the Jim Clark S's, Andrew Walsh in the black car there's pushing so hard, using the runoff on the outside, coming down into Barcroft now. Slightly better line there from Chris Randall in the blue car we're looking at now, 88. Oh, and Walsh has run wide at Sunny Inn.
It's almost the reverse of what we saw before when the 2 cars were in the opposite positions relative to one another. Down the back straight now, they're going to try and break into this incredibly difficult left-hander. If he can get himself round the outside, then Randall may well have the racing line, but there's a yellow flag there. What's that one for, Rob?
Well, waved yellow incident, we can't see that. There we go, there was a car just in the wall on the right-hand side. It's car 70, that's Marcus Jewell. Looks like he's just getting back into it, so perhaps the problem he's been able to fix, but no overtaking this lap at the first of the 2 hairpins.
Tom Chataway there on board with him. He got mugged a little bit there going through that sunny section. You can see what happened. One car down the inside pushed him wide. He couldn't get back into the apex. That yellow flag still being waved. So watch to see if the drivers are able to make sure that they don't do anything silly. Any overtaking under the yellows will almost certainly result in at least a time penalty, probably an exclusion. Bearing in mind, of course, Rob, that a lot of these guys are fairly new to competing in motorsport. We've done a lot of track day driving with the on-track Elise Club, but fairly new to racing, some of them, so driving standards pretty good in consideration of their limited experience.
Very much so, and good to see them all obeying the waved yellow flag, but this battle at the front is still raging, and this is as close as we've seen the two cars as they come round towards Barcroft now.
Really hard to say which part of the circuit favours which driver or which car. Certainly I think here last time through it did look like Randall had momentum down the inside, but look how defensive Andrew Walsh has gone there. You can see the amount of power these cars in the modified version of the Elises are putting down the back, squirming around. Meanwhile, Keith Herford in their very distinctive orange and white car just ahead of Tony Ferrier. These are in the A-class cars, so these are the standard cars, if you like, and this is the sort of thing where people can literally drive them to the circuit and drive them home again.
Yes, these A-class cars are very much road standard, including the third of that little trio we're looking at there. That's Vital Chewin in the yellow car.
Yeah, Vital starting to get a little bit more on the pace now. Fairly new to the championship, joined us a little while ago, Snetterton, and clearly enjoying his racing and getting a bit stuck in. Oh, well, a little bit of a lock up there. Well, maybe Vital didn't quite work out that you do actually need a gap to overtake. He was trying to find one, I think, there.
He got on the brakes hard, though, locked all four wheels and avoided the inevitable, so good job from him. 211's battling hard as they come round through onto the back straight.
Yeah, it does look like Gavin Kirby's got the car working quite well as they come through the chicane. That's Paul O'Neill ahead. Car looks similar, but it's in a slightly different category. Mark Gooday now under a little bit of pressure from Kirby. The two of them have had some good scraps already this year. These cars really are so dramatic to look at. Perfect for this kind of motorsport. Back to the action at the head of the field once again. Well, Walsh now getting so defensive that Chris Randall thinks about going the long way round. Try that one. That's going to be a hell of a move if he can pull that one up, but he does seem to get a bit of momentum out there coming down the back straight. Again, he's trying to get himself round the outside. This time, no yellow flag, so maybe he can position the car to the inside, into the right hand. He's looking at it, but a bit too late on the brakes. Big lock up. Oh, but look at Walsh, Rob.
Another double lock up there, and they're side by side at the second hairpin. Ooh, blimey. Chris Randall sneaks through there, but he's run wide on the exit, and immediately Walsh is back at him.
What a fantastic scrap. He's just going to run and run, the two of them. Late on the brakes, watch the road drop away. You can see how shiny the road is there, where the racing line has polished, or the cars on the racing line have polished the tarmac. But look at this. Once again, Randall is just biting and nibbling away at the back of Walsh's car. Paul O'Neill, the Liverpudlian, of course, the former touring car driver in the VXR team, amongst others. Great to see Paul out. He's been racing in British GTs this year. Meanwhile, Keith Herford, he's going to have to watch for the scrap. That's the leaders coming through. They make their way past the very observant Vital Chewin. But is Keith and Tony Verrier going to see him? I think the answer was no, Rob.
Yikes, I've got my head in my hands. Look at the cars being carved through there by the two leaders. Walsh and Randall really pushing hard through the traffic. Marshall's doing a great job, as they always do, with the waved blue flags, but the leaders carving their way through these slower A-class cars.
Well, it's up to about 6 seconds a lap time difference in terms of the difference between fastest lap for this category, which at the moment is been Chris Randall. But look at this, round the outside once again. There's two of them are side by side. What's going to happen this time? Is there going to be another lock-up? Has he got the job done? I think he has, a bit of a lock-up, but look at Walsh trying to come back to the inside. That's going to be a tough move, I think.
Walsh has missed a gear. Walsh has missed a gear, Simon. Oh, and that's just given Randall the advantage. I think he would have been able to come straight back at him, but he missed that difficult change from second up to third, and that's allowed Chris Randall in the blue car to make good his escape.
Great shot of the cars charging down towards the Clervaux corner. We see in the middle of the pack there. Oh, Russ Treasure just loses the back end. It looks to me like maybe he just got on the power a little bit too hard, and great disappointment. Meanwhile, the 24 car of Doug Setters, very much like the Lotus Sport Elise cars that we saw racing in a one-make series, running very wide, making a bit of a mistake there. And who's this? Having a bit of a drama here. Well, very, very exciting. Bit of a moment there for Steve Wenzel, and somehow he managed to get it out of the gravel in one piece. White walls, well, you don't see that very often, do you?
No, white wall tyres there from Doug Setters, and yeah, oh, that's 43. That's Martin Johnson spinning at the left-hander into the complex as we come on to the start of the last lap.
This scrap here between Kirby and O'Neill is looking like it's going to run to the right to the flag. It looks like Kirby's got a break now away from Mark Gooday, and we saw that spin there. I think that was because Johnson just didn't get noticed there. Now here we can see this scrap for Third position, I think it is just about going to be O'Neill if he can get through the traffic, but the winner is going to be a very, very hard-working Chris Randall, somehow manages to just break away enough. Meanwhile, coming through, Martin Roberts in between first and second place. Obviously a lap down, fantastic scrap, really entertained the crowd, and I'm sure they enjoyed that. And that man will have enjoyed himself. Paul O'Neill, guarantee you see a smile on his face. He enjoys his racing so much. So that's our results. Randall wins by 4.2 seconds in the end. Doesn't tell the true story. O'Neill, Kirby, Gooday, Porter, Setters, Denman, Johnson and Steve Williams round out the top 10. Class A, Craig Denman from Steve Williams and Malcolm Edison. Class B, all on his own, was Dave Porter. Class C, Chris Randall from Andrew Walsh and Paul O'Neill. And the 211 class, Gavin Kirby, Mark Gooday and Martin Johnston.
Nice one. Mega, what do we do now? I've been on a podium for years.
Yes, it is.
Chris, again, it wasn't easy for you. It was quite a challenging one.
No, but it was great fun. Absolutely fantastic fun. I've been struggling. My car's been leaking cool all weekend. It was shouting like 109 degrees at me, but I thought, no, it's just too much fun. I've got to carry on. But yeah, brilliant race. I mean, you know, fair play to Walshy. It was hard, really close. Not you know, no contact. It was just a brilliant fun. Really good giggle.
Glad he's back. It made me work for the first couple of laps. I think we have a little bit of a problem with the car, but other than that, hopefully we'll get it back together. But cheers, Chris. Good race.
You look like you had a blinding time out there.
It was grand. It you know, car run faultless except for the exhaust there, blowing a bit at the end. We lost a bit of power, but you know, got a decent start. Don't know where that come from, and then all of a sudden, a lot of supercharged Lotuses just flew past me, and you know, these boys were racing so hard. It was fantastic to be involved, and you know, everyone's a winner. It was grand. Loved it. It's a fantastic series. Good fun.
What a race. Very close and exciting, and three very happy drivers on the podium there. Join us after the break for race 2.